Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my Business by Design Summit. I'm Karie Millspaugh, and today in my hot seat, I have a beautiful lady from Utah. Her name is Andrea. You might have heard of her. She's the founder of Inspire Me to Be, and just that saying by itself says so much. She's a serial entrepreneur. She's known as to be an amazing yoga instructor. She's an online marketing coach, consultant, and she just inspires people to really turn their passion into a purpose and their purpose into a profit. So welcome today, Andrea. How are you?
Thank you so much, Karie. I am so happy to be here with you.
I love having my blonde sisters on the summit. It's so much fun. Blonde power is what it really is to me. Super blondes. But so Andrea, tell us more than anything. And she's just, a beautiful mom. She's a wife. She's got so much to offer us today. But more importantly, what makes you a serial entrepreneur? More than anything, what just inspires you to not go apply for a job, tomorrow or whatever the case may be? Kind of tell us how you got started in your business.
Absolutely, Karie. I think that's something that some of us are just born with. And yet I think all of us have this gift of seeing opportunities and seeing different ideas that come into our mind and inspire us. And we start to get excited about the idea or a problem that we could help solve, whether it's a product or a service. And that's what happened to me, is I start to see and have these thoughts and get inspired, and then I would just want to share. I want to put it out into the world, and mostly it comes from that desire to create and, again, to inspire, which is why my company is Inspire Me to Be, is to be able to feel like at the end of the day, I am inspiring somebody else to, to make their life easier, to feel happy or joyful. That is kind of where it came from. But I have to say that I never really became an entrepreneur until I found this gift of yoga. So that was almost 16 years ago, where I started going to a yoga class. And I came back from my first yoga class. I had just gotten married, and my husband said, how was it? And I just looked at him and said, I feel beautiful. I feel beautiful on the inside. And I literally said that to him. We always laugh about it. But I think the more my journey into yoga, to really connect with who I am, to start to feel confident in who I am, that I do have something to bring to the world and to share with the world, that allowed me to then really inspire me to want to create things and then share them. And then I started to go to the business side. My degree was in marketing and PR, so I had that foundation, but I was working for companies. I worked for big financial companies. I worked for software companies, telecommunication, big real estate brokerages, and yet I knew I had something inside me that I wanted to share. And so that is what really drove me to become the serial entrepreneur, to be inspired with an idea or a thought, and then to put it out into the world. And that is really what's interesting, is that through that process of trying a lot of different companies and creating different products, everything from kids musical yoga, where my husband and I created videos for young kids almost 13 years ago, and traveled around the US, creating that business, all the way to a mobile marketing company, to all different kinds of companies. But now it's really led me to really want to inspire other people to think of that idea, that purpose, that passion within them, and then be able to share that and actually make money doing that. So that's kind of where that was inspired from.
That's amazing. You just inspired probably a lot of people just with that statement that you created videos for kids and yoga videos. Because I think people think a job or to make money is only one path. It's very narrow. It's not broad. Mm-hmm. And they don't ever really think they can make money doing what they really love to do. And that's the best part about this interview series, is that we're inspiring others that you truly can do what you love and get paid for it. I mean, that's the only way to live. Why would you want to do anything else, right?
Absolutely. And it is possible. And I love that you're just giving that inspiration to women all over the world, and men too, all over the world.
We won't leave them out.
Yes, we don't want to leave you out, because, and often it's the men that do feel even more stuck into, they have to have this 9-to-5 job to support. But there are so many paths, like you said, and being able to tune inward truly, I believe, is that first step of really finding the confidence and the will and the desire, and really connect with what is it that you want to put out into the world, and then just going for it.
I love that. I love that. Mm-hmm. So what do you want to share with the audience today that will inspire them to take those first few steps and explore inward? Obviously, I love your yoga passion too. You make me want to go sign up to the yoga studio down the street now. I want to feel beautiful too.
Yes, there's many pathways to feel beautiful within, but it is, moving inward and being able to find that quiet time and really connect with who you are. And so, yes, you should go sign up for yoga. Everyone should. It's just one way to connect even deeper to you. So I would love to share with you what I have work with my clients, which is just a really quick 5-step process to show you that finding your purpose and then turning it into a profit is not, it's just steps. It's not impossible. It's not overwhelming. You just start at step 1 and then you move to step 5 and then you go for it. And so I'd love to share with you guys what I use as my 5 steps to get you some clear information. And if you have it available, you can grab a pen and paper just in case there's a question that you might want to write down, or a thought, as I might be asking you some questions to help you go through the process. Does that sound good, Karie?
That's awesome. And I'm even ready with my own pen.
Okay. So the first off, I'm just going to give you the steps so you can write them down, and they're action words. So you can even write down the first word and then maybe a couple notes at the end. So the first one is just to connect with your passion, your purpose, and your gifts. So again, this is the part of moving inward, like I said, is really diving a little bit deeper into what do you love to do? And I'll go in and ask you a couple more questions there. Okay, the next one is discover. Discover your tribe and the problem that you solve. So that's understanding who you want to share something with. The next one is create. And that is where I specifically encourage you to create. Now, a lot of the work that I do specifically is helping individuals create signature programs, which is really a way of kind of bundling your thoughts into something. Now, that's mostly for someone who wants to really go out and coach. But the creation process could be what I did before, years ago, was I created yoga videos. I created a little class of different yoga poses and songs and things like that. And I went through that creation process. So that's the third step. The next one is deliver. So really understanding what are the strategies and the ways to deliver what it is that you want to put out into the world, and how that connects and elevates those people that you're trying to reach. And the last one is to attract. So how are we now going to attract those clients and customers to actually purchase what it is that you want to share and put out into the world? So those are my 5 steps. And you can see as you go through each one, you can get real clear and you can see what is actually possible, that you can create something that is your own, and no matter what it is. So we'll just jump into really quickly into the connect your passions and your purpose and your gifts. And I apologize if I kind of look down for a second as I'm just trying to, look at some of my notes here. Okay, so a couple questions that I'd love for you just to ask, and that is defining your passions. And sometimes that's really hard, especially for if you've been entrenched in your life and feel kind of so heavy with responsibilities, maybe being a mom or a dad and work every day and the house. I just purchased a new house. We're so excited, but I'm amazed again at how much energy is to put into, all the little things that go into, owning your own house and doing all of that. So those things can start to stop you from really living your passion. And in fact, I was just talking with someone where I started to ask her about her passions, and she immediately said, I can't have this conversation anymore because it's really, it's hard for some. So just understanding what it is. So first question, if you want to write it down, what do you love to talk about? That might be a key to kind of refresh your mind with, what am I passionate about? Well, think about when you're in groups of people, what do you find yourself talking about? Is it just you love talking about kids and their activities? Do you love talking about, for me, yoga? I would always find myself talking about yoga or business. Are you talking about landscaping or home decor? Think about what you love to talk about with your friends and your family. The next question is, imagine that you're on a 3-day escape and you could go anywhere and you could do anything. Maybe it's you're passionate about serving and giving back, and you might want to do a 3-day service trip. And that might be something that you can start to think about. That's your passion. You love just to help people through nonprofit organization services that way. And maybe creating something like that would be yours. And there's an idea there. Maybe it's a yoga retreat or whatever it is. Of course, I have my own passions that come in. But what would you do? And you can write that down. And then what kind of books are next to you? And what do you find yourself wanting to, when you go on the internet? I guess books are not even as applicable anymore, but when you're searching and you just get lost in the web, what are you reading? What are you listening to? And just taking note of that. So that's kind of understanding your passions. So the next one is your purpose. And this is really, again, even trickier, but I'm going to try and simplify for time because sometimes this part gets so overwhelming that we just stop, right? Because that's a heavy question. What is your purpose in life? So we're going to try not make it too heavy that we can't hold it. We're just going to let it inspire us, okay? And our purpose, I just want to say, is always changing. It's kind of like, I think it was Deepak Chopra who described it kind of as if a train moving around a mountain, just moving upward, continuously on a journey. And so it's forever changing. So it's not like what you come up with your purpose today is going to be your purpose in 5 years from now. So I think that kind of changes. So one of the questions is, how do you want to help people? How do you feel inspired? Do you just like to people tell you their problems and you love to give advice? Do you help to teach? Do you educate? How do you like to help people? Maybe it's through service projects. Question 2, and this was the deeper one, but I have to throw this in, it's why do you believe that you're here on this earth? So for those people that are very spiritual, this might be a necessary of, what is your biggest purpose here? If that's too heavy, skip that one. What big difference do you want to make? And now, that's the word, now. Okay, what big difference do you want to make in 20 years from now? That's a great question to ask. But if you could make a difference, in the next year, how would you like to make a difference? And I also want to talk about money, right? When we think about our purpose, what is it that you really want to create and leave as your legacy for maybe your family? And, for me, the purpose that really drives me in my business is to spend more time with my children and to give them the opportunities that I want to give them. If I want to travel, then I can jump on the plane and go to Costa Rica for 2 weeks. If I want to, whatever I want to do, I want to be able to have that freedom, not just the money to do that, but the freedom to ride bikes. I ride my bike with my child every day to school, and I pick them up from school. And once they're home, that's my time. All last week, like Karie, she's created and designed her business to create a week that she doesn't have to work. And what the opportunity, if that's kind of your purpose, to find that freedom, then write that down and hold space for that as you start to move through the process. And then just moving forward, clearly defining your gifts. So sometimes that too is a hard question. But I know that each one of you on this, in here listening, have so many gifts to share. And so many of those gifts come from the hard things that we go through in life. And which is interesting, right? Whether it's a college degree that you really, really had to sacrifice to study and work hard and earn that certificate or that degree, or if it's a life experience, that has allowed you to be able to develop certain skills. Now, like I said, I'm an entrepreneur, so I've launched and done many different businesses and different kind of business models. So it's given me some skills of how to actually create a business and then launch it and make some money. So here are a couple questions. What do you think you're pretty good at? And again, really be confident here. What are some of the things that are your skills that you're pretty good at? And then what do you think other people have told you that you're pretty good at? So sometimes we can't think of them ourselves, but listen to the voices who say, oh my gosh, that was such good advice. What would I have done without you? Or wow, you know so much about food and nutrition. And wow, I really didn't even know that had, that nutritional value, or that food wasn't good for me. Or maybe it was like me. Honestly, my business skills and really helping people with the content in their programs and helping them think of ideas to really structure their business under came from Karie within our mastermind when we worked together in regards to, I was helping a lot of people with their businesses and their ideas. And they said, oh, you're really good at that. And that really shaped what I do today, is because I had this passion of wanting to just help people, even though that really wasn't my business model, a couple years ago. I thought it was going to go a different direction. So, listen to what people are saying about you. And the last question is education, certificates, skills, those kinds of things, and just write them down, because why this is so important is our next step, which is understanding your tribe and the problem that you solve. And that is really, who do you love working with? What kind of people do you love being around? And I'm sure for Karie, you work with the people that really you love to be around. Is that true?
Yes. You definitely attract your clients a certain way. Yeah. You want to have fun in your business. You
want to have fun in your business. And you might have felt the same way where, sometimes you're not sure exactly who you want to work with, and your messaging isn't really lined up. So you start to attract people and you're like, okay, I know that's not exactly the kind of person that I want, that I really, really enjoy working with. So what's great is when you're starting out, just start to get clear, start to understand, and, dream. Who is my favorite person that I would love to? If you do have a business and you have clients or customers, then you can think about, who are my favorite clients? Who are my favorite customers that are like the best? Write down, describe them, really create that vision and hold that space that's who you want to work with. And then you can go back to understanding who they are and what is one of the problems that they have. And after you've gone through your skills and what you love to do, is there something that you could do to help them? Is there maybe, a process, or is there a conversation, or their life skills, or their technical skills that you could provide to help them solve a problem? And so, if you have your pen and paper, you can start to write down those questions and really get even more clear on who you want to work with. So those are the first two steps So just checking in, Karie, should I try and keep going on the different steps and move forward? Do you have any
I
thoughts
love
on
all
that?
of this content, of course. It's amazing. And what I really like that you really focused on was what solution can you provide? Because so many people with their marketing are very, and I see this too in my business with my clients, very fluffy and very broad. But what transformation do you provide for your client? And that's where the marketing part is so important. If I don't know what I'm buying, then why would I buy from you? You know, so you're a health coach. Okay, great. Well, what transformation am I going to get when I sign up with you? So this is something I work with my clients too. And I love that you, with the signature program, really hit, targeted that. I'd like to go a little bit further. We definitely have plenty of time. So if you want to go a little bit deeper, because this is all great content, I'm sure your people's brains are just spinning.
Okay.
And I love that you shared that one person with you said they couldn't even talk about their passions. And I have a client like that, where it was a trigger, like maybe for once they never even had the permission to have their own voice.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some deeper inner work that needs to happen there. Some people just don't feel like they get to have that choice in life.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else has probably made all those decisions for them in the past. But to let really people know that are listening to this, that it is great to really dig deep. Even if you don't turn it into a business, just start. And I love your mention about the train, because you mentioned you started in yoga and you just kept going because you were going up that mountain too with your own purpose. Mine keeps shifting too. And it's okay to remind our viewers that it's okay to just get on the train, just get on the train. Start today, don't wait, but get on that train, because you don't have to know all the answers today. You will get them, but I love that. So let's go a little bit deeper for our viewers.
That's perfect, Karie. I love that. Just getting on the train, because, I think neither of us started and knew exactly how this was going to work out, and nor do we know where our businesses are going to take us in 5 years from now. We just are living our passion, helping people, giving the information, and helping people solve a problem. And so that's perfect. So thank you for that. So the next step is to create, and I have the content to create your signature program. So really this is your time to create the solution. So what does that look like? And I'm going to go and talk a little bit right now about creating a signature program and that content. But if that doesn't apply to you, maybe start to take a moment and really think about what does it mean for me to create? Where do I need to get started? What are my first steps? And going through that. So here are some things. The first step for me is usually just kind of coming up with a title, which is really fun. And with the title, that after you start to really go through your content, that title might change, right? But it's a great way to kind of start to kind of focus your energy. And like Karie said, if you just are too fluffy, you're not clear what you really offer, then it's hard for people to buy. So when you come up with a nice, strong title, then you're able to really move the content and solve a problem. So my first tip for creating a title, maybe even that's a product name, here's some tips. Include in your title how you're going to solve their problem. So that's it, marketing wise. Get really clear right off the bat. How do you solve the problem? And tie that into your title. Now, the next one is use simple words that sell. So do some word research. So you're not just going to use some abstract words that people don't connect with. Okay, so I did a lot of different research on words, and you need to make sure profit, people their ears perk up with that. That word means money. So if looking at what service do you provide, add that into your title, and really, like I said, research those words that are powerful words that you will attract people from the beginning. The next one is to add steps or a process or a system, a structure. This is a way of letting people know this is the problem that you have. I'm going to take you through these steps, system, this process, right? And get you to right here where you now have a result. And then we work on what is that result in your marketing, right? And getting really clear on that. But within your title, right off the bat, really start to think about are there steps? For example, my Purpose to Profit program has 5 steps. I have other that is a system, or, so really think about what is the process that you take people to get that end result, and then defining the end result. We'll do that soon. And then don't confuse. So being really clear, that is the key to finding a really good title. So and then to structure. So we can structure our programs in all different ways. Out there's length of time. So you can start to look at, how are you structuring it? Is it a boot camp where it's in a week? Is it 6 months? Is it a year service that you provide? And so getting clear on the structure of that. And then you can go into how, the words to use. So for example, my 5-step process that I just told you about, I have action words that took you through the different steps. So we created some consistency so that it was very clear how I was going to take you through to find and create something and get that end result. So there's different ways to create that structure. And once you figure out your timeline, and then how do you want to break it down? Do you want to break it down into like 3 months? Then maybe you'll have 3 modules. If you're doing 12 months, you might only still have, 3 modules, but then you break it into, 4 different sections. So just looking how you want to kind of structure depending on the timeline, and then you can add these words, actions, acronyms, themes, metaphors, verbs, adjectives, all of these things to help describe what you're doing to take them through. And I hope that's not too much information, but that kind of helps you.
Good. I think so many, and I get this with my clients, when they create their programs, they get overwhelmed. But the fact that you broke it up into sections, they don't have to know every little bullet point yet. Just get the basic ones down, because it does shift a little bit when you start coaching your clients. But I like that you broke it up into sections. That helps a lot. Bite-sized chunks.
That's right. And it's just, come up with a title. How long do you think it would be good? Create the couple modules of different things that you think would be helpful. And then you start to dive into the content of what is it that would really be helpful? What is the process or the experience or the advice or the, whatever it is that you want to work on. And here is just some advice and a checklist. We don't have time to, really dive into that content today, but here are some questions that might help you. So the first question is, does each module have a strong why and stand alone in importance? So I always ask this question when I work with my clients in creating their content, is making sure that if you do break it down in 3 months, is that some strong content that really can stand alone, that helps solve a part of their problem, not the whole problem, but a little piece. It might be a step, or it might be part of the system. It might just be one area, however you want to break it down, but just asking that question. The next one is consistency in voice and content. And again, that will happen, I think, after you have a fuller picture. But after you've kind of gone through it all, go back and make sure you've created some consistency. That adds to the clarity. And when you are clear in your communication, then people will buy from you because they're clear at the process that you're going to take them through. The next one is the action steps. So just really writing down, what is the actions that I really want this person to go through during this section? What are the actions that I really want? And go through and start to define those a little bit more clearly. That's always helpful. And then start to look at your process. For example, I said, does each one build on each other, or are they each standalone? Okay, so when you start to look at that, I have a number of clients who've structured their programs where it could be a 12-month program, and each module can stand alone, and so they can enroll people all year long. They don't have to wait for, okay, January 1, my program starts. any time starting at the beginning of the month, they can enroll people. And so do you have standalone or do you have a building? So look at the way you have it structured so you can know how you want to market your program in that way. The amount of money you want to charge and the depth of the content. And those are just two really good questions of, is this just a beginning program? Is it just something to spark an idea and solve the problem, helping to inspire them to get this kind of result? Or are you having a lot of deep information that will require a longer period of time? Because, Karie, you and I know that sometimes we want to just give, but it takes people a while to absorb, sometimes 2 or 3 times to repeat what information we're giving. So we want to make sure that we allow the certain amount of time for the depth of the knowledge that we intend to give to be able to solve the problem. So just another question to check into as a tip of creating your content. So I hope that was helpful.
It was awesome. Are you kidding? That's amazing. Now I want to just touch base on that because you kind of piqued my interest where the pressure of filling a group program that starts at XYZ and ends at this date, and then you have 4 more people that show up a month after it started. I see this happen with myself, with my clients. I like that you kind of give them almost permission to keep coming in, keep signing up. You can start with module 1, even though a lot of people might be on a different module. Is that what you're saying, basically? Is that they get standalone type of thing? I just want to get clear on that part.
Yeah, I mean, my suggestion would be you make a choice and you stick with that choice. So if you're creating a process where someone is, you're working on step 1, you have a group, and they're working through the first month, and then once that month's done, they move on to the next step. I would suggest that you only have 1 start date. So you might trickle a couple people in, but really after that 2nd month, it's going to be too late.
Yeah.
They'll feel behind. They won't feel connected. They might, play catch up, but they need to kind of stay with the group to get the best results. What I was saying was you can structure your program so that each month is a standalone module. So anyone can enroll in January, and then the module, let's see, they're on the 3rd module, but it doesn't matter. They're going to continue all the year long until the end of that module. So you just need to know what it is that you're giving people. If it's standalone modules and people can enroll anytime, it's constant enrollment, or it's just a process, in which case I wouldn't suggest to continue enroll people throughout it because they'll feel behind.
Yes, absolutely. Which is the big distinction between multiple streams of income. I prefer to do private clients where I can work with them one-on-one and cater to their business, but I also take those 3 times a month to teach a new skill. I work a lot on mindset where I can leverage my time and teach my clients at the same time versus our private sessions, in conjunction. A mentorship program, of course, like you said, is that start to finish. Everyone needs to be kind of on the same page. They don't get as much one-on-one time with me, aside from the group call. So those are 2 very different programs, obviously. Just wanted to clear that up for our viewers, just in case they're like, how does this
absolutely
work?
All different ways to work. And like you said, there's certain ways that work best. And so it's good to understand how am I going to best serve my clients or customers with this program? And so that's what you've done in the way that you've structured your different, how different people can get you and work with you. So that's perfect. So step number 4 is deliver in a way that connects and transforms. So we've, talked a little bit about that, but really, delivery is understanding how would it best serve my clients to give them this information. So I'm just going to list a couple that are great ways to deliver information. So for example, this event right now, Karie, that you've provided is one way of delivering information to people around the world. You've created videos, right? So videos are an amazing way, and I think they're what you know is people connect with you, they see you, they look in your eyes, they hear your words. And so there are, of course, my favorite and one of the most popular ways of creating connection with your clients. So you can work with them one-on-one on Skype, or, create different things like this. So video training, so audio, just picking up the phone, using any kind of audio training. That's a great way. Written formats, so you might get actual written modules of information that people can access. Some people learn visually, so if you're talking to them over the phone for an hour and they get off, they actually haven't learned and really taken away the information that they need because they haven't seen it. We all learn in different ways. So maybe your clients work best with a written format. And I'll talk a little bit more how it's great to combine, right? So speaking, so sometimes people have to see us live. They want to see us on stage. Maybe you can give this program in a 3-hour course in workshops around your neighborhoods. Maybe you can bring people over to your house and give training sessions, or speaking to them in small groups, big stages, really thinking about how you like to provide information. Education, so you might even be doing educational workshops. So if you're a teacher, if you're someone that's out there, a good transition is not to think about, oh, I'm going to be a coach. It's you're an educational teacher. So you're just doing the same thing in a different way, sharing your passion and gifts, right? And solving people's problems. So when we think about really, and what are some of those educational ways of delivering information, gatherings, if you love just to have fun and get party, let's say your passion is going to parties and connecting and being social, then why not start to just create gatherings? Start to connect people and then be able to, give your program information through gatherings and give them that information that way. Groups that we talk about, you can bring people together and you can create Facebook groups and conversations where people are sharing and gathering and helping each other as you coach the program information. That's a great way of delivering one-on-one. Like Karie said, she loves to really take and work with people one-on-one. I also love just to take and work with someone's idea and really move them through the process of turning their passions and purpose into profit. So one-on-one, you can really start to work with that person. So sometimes they like to be called on the phone. Sometimes they like videos, and you can really custom that way. In person, online. So those are different methods of delivery of your content. But the most important thing is you don't have to do all of them. If you don't feel comfortable being on video, Karie is so charismatic, and I could tell she eats up the camera. She loves that, but you might have a little bit more of a personality moving into this process where you might feel great just setting up hour-long training calls over the phone, where you're not having to worry about what you look like or any of that. You can be really confident that you love just to talk verbally on the phone. Maybe your skill is writing. Maybe you're just really talented at writing, and you can create modules with some amazing handwritten information, worksheets, things like that, where people can visualize and see, and you could provide content that way. So think about your gifts, your passion. Where do you love to or feel really comfortable providing this information? And then from there, you can look at and start to choose one. And Karie and I both know eventually you'll start to move into a lot of the different areas. So that's on delivery. And I know time's up. I just want to go into the last piece, attracting your tribe. And there's so much to talk about that, but really thinking about your circles of influence and then just being able to share it with all those different circles of influence and where you want to be seen. So
I love it. You've inspired me to be today. Andrea, you just started off my week off on a different note. My mind is going, because I'm getting ready to do a signature program in the, later after, probably around the holidays or right after the new year. So my mind is just.
And Karie, I just want to say this, I worked with a client just recently. She's a very successful coach already online, and she was doing a lot of one-on-ones. She had a group program. She had, 8 to 10 people in her group program. It is a year-long program. And, she was providing some amazing content. And then she, we worked together. She hired me to really get even more clear, to really provide some content that was really connected to her and connected to really solve the problem, really thinking even deeper into how can I help my clients? What more can I do to serve them? And getting real clear on that. And because of that, she was started to feel so connected and so excited about the content that she was sharing and the transformation that was, happening with the clients she had. She then enrolled almost 30 more people into her group coaching and went over, multiple 6 figures. And so just thinking about what is possible with, these types of programs. And so it's really exciting, Karie, to think about, that's looking at the bigger end. We can start small, but I just wanted to give an example of someone that, really got clear, even more clear on creating a signature program, and, the multiple 6 figures just popped instantly within a month. So it's really exciting what's possible.
Yes, it is. And you're so right about the clarity, because I remember my first year in business, do I stay in wellness, but I really love business? Where do I play at? Where's my playground at? And when you're unclear, your results don't show up. It's just foggy. And your audience can sense that from you. But once you're on fire and you're like, this is what it looks like, yeah, it's all good. You're just like a trail of blazing fire.
I could see it. That was a great visual.
You're on fire. I love that. So you've shared so much great stuff today. You are just amazing. I am so blessed to have you on this interview. And any final thoughts, or how can our audience connect with you? Kind of point us in the direction of how we work with Andrea.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you, Karie. And it's such a pleasure. And of course, this is my favorite topic of really inspiring people to take their passions and their purpose and know that the world needs you, and the world needs you to share what you have, and that it is possible to make money doing it. And it's so possible, and it's so exciting, and just want to inspire you to do that. And if we've gone through one of those steps that you feel, you're kind of stuck on, maybe it's the first step. Maybe you've gone through some of that process of, who you want to work with, your purpose, but you just need some clarity on how to break down your content. Or maybe you've worked on your content and you just need to know, how can I further attract people into my group program and really fill my group program? I want to offer you a 15-minute consultation with me. We can jump on the phone and just dive into the step that will get you where you want to be. And so please reach out to me. You can always go to my website at inspireme, the number 2 and the letter B.com. And in the bottom corner, there's a pop-up that says connect, and just set an appointment and we can chat there as well.
Awesome. I will, of course, have the link in the body of this video and on the landing page and the email. So it'll be really easy to find Andrea and get that time with her. She's just a beautiful soul. If you get time with her, you're just so blessed. She'll definitely help you get clear. I've had the pleasure of meeting Andrea in person, which was so long ago. It feels like it was just yesterday, but it wasn't.
I know.
So much has happened since then.
And I think both of us have really, like you said, that clarity really has been key for us. So it's great to ask for help and to have someone help you along the way.
I love it. I love it. It's because we got on the train. That's why. And we didn't stop the train. We're letting it keep going.
We're definitely going for a ride.
Yes, it's a fun one. It's a fun journey by all means.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for your time. We're going to say goodbye today, and I thank the viewers. Be tuned in with more from Andrea, and I'll send lots of good things their way. And we'll see you tomorrow on the Business by Design Summit. So goodbye, everyone.